Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero with the Ways of Israel, and I want to welcome you in this morning's class. We are continuing our series of Sefer Haikkarim, who was a rabbi of the mid-age period, and he writes profusely on a philosophical basis on what basic Judaism is all about. And so we're going to go into this morning into chapter 10 of book 3, and where he deals with the topic of prophecy, in particular its variants of prophecy, whether it is today or it's in the future to be once again brought about. But before, say a blessing over a cup of coffee I'm having. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihaya bidvaro. So good. Okay, so we get started this morning, and we're going to take a look at Sefer Haikkarim, and where we begin, we must now explain, he says, the existence of prophecy and its various grades, so that believers may find it easier to understand the existence of prophecy and the different degrees thereof. The moment of the birth of the individual is devoid of all understanding. The first thing that are formed in him are 5 external senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, and sight. The individual does not get these all at once, but one at a time. The moment of his appearance in the outer world, he perceives only with the coarsest of senses that of touch. The objects of his perception at each stage are heat and cold, moisture and dryness, softness and hardness, roughness and smoothness, and the like. Afterwards, a further interval of time after birth, he perceives a finer and more important class of objects, namely tastes, like sweet, bitter, sour, astringent, sharp, and so on. Later on, he perceives another class of things, still finer, namely the odors and agreeable and disagreeable, etc. Later, still he will perceive with senses of hearing, a class of objects that is still finer than those of sense of smell, and he may be able to perceive a great distance, such as sound and tones and various kinds. Still later, he perceives with the senses the sight of another class of existent finer than all the rest, which can be perceived at a greater distance than others, such as colors, forms, according to their various kinds, and so on. One of these 5 senses cannot perceive the objects of the other. Thus, the sense of sight cannot perceive sounds and or tones or odors, nor can the senses of smell taste or perceive colors and sounds. After he has advanced considerable time and has become habituated to the 5 senses, he rises to a higher different degree than that of perceiving the objects of various senses. He now has the power of recognizing a thing which is no longer actually perceived. He recognizes that he has only one perceived when he sees it again, and though the thing that has disappeared, he remembers the knowledge which is impressed on his imagination, and recognizes the object. The power of his apparent he acquires through the medium of the first faculty. As he grows older, he attains to a higher degree of means of the first power, a new gate that opens before him, and he acquires the power of intellectual apprehension. He strips the sensible object of its particular qualities and apprehends the general essence. For example, he takes animality and rationality in human beings and judges that these are common to all the whole species, and are different from those particular qualities which differs in different individuals. Now, as he advances further in years and acquires information, another gate opens for him, which he has not yet entered thereto. He now makes a distinction between substance and accidents, between the necessary, the possible, and the impossible. He combines the rational principle, not based upon the sense of perception, with each, and acquires all of the science which he could not have acquired by means of the powers mentioned before. The four stages form the limits of the human intellect beyond which it cannot go. Some individuals do not reach the highest stage, but stop at the second or third. These then are the powers which generally of men have.